The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amba TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambatv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
To dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with undaunted.
Welcome once again, fellow Ambazonians, to your newly launched program, Know Your Interim Government. This is the second edition. We're sorry last week we couldn't broadcast for some other reasons beyond our control. But here we are again with part 2 of this session with the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Mr. Eric Ate. Of course, due to the request, we had the feedback we had from our last program. It was quite overwhelming, and there is still a lot in stock to be shared, and that's the reason why we're having a second session with him. So sorry for the late start. We just wish to plead with each and every one of you to share the link so that we populate this house. There's a lot to be disclosed. There is a lot that is happening. But as we know, shake no day. So una share widely. We'll be back with the Vice President of our Federal Republic and that of Ambazonia, Mr. Eric Ate. So please share, invite, and greetings to you all, and trust you're doing well. Thank you. See you soon. Technical team?
No, you're not able to bring them down.
Oh. So let me welcome the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, and that is Mr. Eric Ate. Mr. VP, the floor is yours. Can you say a word
Thank
of
you.
welcome to your people?
Can you hear me, Chief of Staff?
Yes, I can, very loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you, Chief of Staff, Dr. Yaya. Thank you, Ambazonians. I'm really happy to be here today with the Chief of Staff and to share some thoughts. Uh, last time we were here, we had a great discussion, and I hope it will be the same today. Thank you.
So, as the name of a program actually says, know your interim government. A lot of times we hear people suggest, make great suggestions, and they're actually interested in being a critical part of this struggle. However, many of them complain that they don't know how to be part of this. They think being a part of a struggle means you have to be a member of the cabinet or maybe have some kind of position to be relevant, and that is not the case. So what we try to do here is to exhibit, the the broadness of this structure, the interim government, which is led by the president, none other than President Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako. However, what we want to make people understand is this is a very broad-based structure. It's an institution, and there is room for everyone. And Mr. VP, we talk a lot about one of our popular slogans lately that the president has been using is we govern together to liberate together. Can you tell us more, explain more about that and how that is actually put in practical terms?
Thank you, Chief of Staff. Um, I think that came about when the president realized that based on the Constitution and the way we did things before, the cabinet would discuss policy for the government and they would trickle it down. But when we went to Berlin and decentralized our government and implemented the resolutions that came out from that constituent assembly, let me just remind the Amazonian people that a constituent assembly is higher than every branch of government. The Constituent Assembly is the one who can is the body that can reshape our constitution, rewrite it, amend it, and things like that. So they are it's like a Constituent Assembly of all the stakeholders. So when we came back from Berlin and the executive branch of government implemented the resolutions of of ASSC 1 and birthed the LGA structures and the county structures, the president realized that one cannot actually make policy when one is not informed, because he saw that a lot of cabinet members weren't really well breast with the activities and problems that the LGS and the counties were facing. So he said, we govern together. Why? So how did he do that? We created what is called an extended cabinet forum, where all the LGA executives, all the county executives will sit in. And the cabinet members too, and members of the office of the president can also sit in that forum. So we can govern together. Because if cabinet is removed from the reality of things if cabinet is removed from reality, how can cabinet actually make proposals that will benefit the LGS and the counties? But by sitting in that extended cabinet forum and governing together, they can listen to all the problems facing the LGS and the counties. Thus, they can now come back to the cabinet, counsel the president, and come forth with policies that will help alleviate some of those difficulties that those LGS and counties are facing. So that is how it came about. So we govern together. We have a decentralized executive branch of government, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. VP. So, in summary, you're saying instead of having a federal government that takes decisions without really contacting the grassroots, this forum or this concept is meant to have an exchange, from grassroots to the top, so we actually know the actual problems that face or that we're confronted with, so that whatever decisions or policies that are made from the top, they are done so after due consultation and information. Is that correct? Would that
Exactly.
be a right summary? Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, again, what do you have to tell people who are actually quite interested and they have a lot to offer, but they say they don't know where to fit in? So, a lot of people think they have to get to the VP directly, or to call the president, or to call some member of cabinet, which is not a problem, but you might just not have this person all the time. What are the other ways of that people can actually feel and be a part of this whole structure, which is the people's interim government?
The one way that you can be part of the structure is belonging to your LGA, and
Right.
that alone will not really do the trick. All cabinet members are supposed to be members of their LGA. So if you work in the federal, if you serve in the federal government and you attend your cabinet meetings, your LGA or county meetings, you listen to your people. We are all there to counsel the president. We are all there to formulate policy. We are all there to talk about the things that each LGA and each branch of government is facing. But how would you know if you don't go down there and talk to the people? As for me, a lot of Ambazonians call me sometimes and they ask me questions and I answer those questions. But the fact of the matter is, your first point of contact should be your LGA chair or your county chair, and even a cabinet member from your own LGA. So if you have someone who serves in the federal government and they don't attend your meetings, that is a problem, because instead of trying to call the vice president who is not from your LGA and not from your county, who doesn't have any background information about the problem that you are trying to expose to him, it would be better you call your cabinet member, a member of your LGA who serves in the cabinet. But if they themselves don't attend their county and LGA meetings, then it's really frustrating for those people. So that's why we always encourage all federal government servants to belong to the grassroots. Go in there, listen to them, come back and counsel us at the federal government, so we can really understand the problems that they are facing. Thank you, Chief of Staff.
Apparatus,
Chief
and
of
they will
Staff, can you
simply,
hear me? Oh, sorry.
sorry.
I lost you there for a minute.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you very
Okay,
clearly. Yeah.
yes. So I was just making a summary to encourage our comrades who have a lot to offer, but they don't seem to know what the entry point is. So they should simply look for their LGA chair or their county chair in case they don't know that. But I think the Department of Home Affairs and Community Mobilization, they're planning to get a list of the different chairs and the contact persons, so that if anyone is looking for someone, you have a contact to reach out to. So thank you, Mr. VP. So we're going to just swing on to another topic. This is about knowing our interim government, of course, the structure, but of course, we also need to talk about the updates of revolution. And as we know, a lot has been happening, and for obvious reasons. And there's a lot of agitation. I'm not sure the VP is going to tell us what he thinks, why everybody is agitated, so agitated right now. But before we get there, we are seeing a lot of different groups, or I don't know how to call them, groups or mobilizations coming up with different names, and everyone seems to be running or calling themselves presidents or whatever. I mean, how can we have a struggle with, let's say, 7 presidents? Can you tell me what would make someone, an average naive person who doesn't really understand what's going on, know that this is the right path to follow and this is a group of jokers? In other words, what makes this interim government stand out?
It is our ability to mobilize.
Okay.
If I have to answer your question with just one statement, our ability to mobilize because we have the structures. And I'm really pleading with the Ambazonian people to listen to this very carefully. Whenever the interim government tries to do something and brings other people in, they don't come there to collaborate with the interim government. They come there to take it over. Let me give you an example. I don't want to drift away to ACT. I don't know if we're going to talk about ACT down the road.
We shall.
But I'm just going to give you an example of how power mongers would always try to usurp the authority of the interim government and degrade them to a group. One, the interim government approached the government of Switzerland and requested that they help us with our mediation process. They agreed. The president contacted all the groups, even though some of them are very insignificant, and told them about it. You remember we went to a conference in Washington called the SCRC. Dr. Fontaine-Niba was there, Mr. John Bakoro was there, Mr. Buheber was there, Akwanga was there. Ayaba refused to attend because he doesn't attend anything that he doesn't initiate or leads. However, they all were there. I was there too. Back then, I wasn't even a member of the government. I was just like a community mobilizer in Minnesota. But I thought to myself, I should go. I thought, let me go up there and encourage these people to never break away from each other. I remember standing there. I pulled President Sako. I pulled Bo Herbert. I said, please work together. Never let go of each other. Let's try to come together and work for our country. So that collaborative platform disintegrated because Fontaine-Niba, John Bakoro, and a few of them were trying to transform it into a superstructure. So the rest of the people said no, including the IG, and they went to Montrose and they decided to create ACT. Everything was fine. They had some rules, some ground rules, and they sat there and they were deliberating and everything. Then all of a sudden, the same sentiments resurfaced. Because every time these people come together with the IG, their main objective is to degrade the IG to their level and transform that little structure that they have created to collaborate into a superstructure. When the IG writes a communique, puts out a communique to the international community, they will query the IG and say, hey, why did you put that out without consulting us? And the IG said, look, let me tell you something. You have your group, I have my government. This is the government. We are here to collaborate for, and work together towards any eventual negotiation that may actually come. We are not here to dictate what I do. But that was a mistake on our part because these people have only one goal: to destroy the interim government. And they haven't succeeded. They can keep trying. So now what is happening? They came out and said they have removed the IG from ACT. How can you remove somebody from the house that they built? But we are re-strategizing, and we are putting together a good team. Since we have decentralized our government, we are putting together a team that represents Ambazonia, a team that is representative of the people of Ambazonia. If you take some of these groups, you have somebody, they have a political organization, and they have 3 members: him, his wife, his brother, and his sister, or whoever, or his grandmother. 5 people. And then a group like that wants to equate itself to the interim government. It's really disgraceful how people are they are so full of themselves and think they have so much power when they have nothing. But you know what? I think things are going to get better now that we are organizing ourselves to project ourselves to the international community that we are the ones who raise the money to effect things on ground, on home front. And we are the ones with the structures. If they think, and if they do, if they can go and negotiate without us and give us Ambazonia, everybody will applaud. But the fact is, the matter is, how many of them, who amongst them can actually enforce any resolution that comes from any eventual negotiation? I don't think they have the stamina or the backing to do so. So The IG remains strong. I know we've had some shakeups with the coup plotters and stuff like that, but it doesn't really matter. We are going to keep doing what we do. This Saturday, next Saturday, we are drafting for Mezam, and we're going to keep drafting our people and make sure that we kind of assert our authority through our men and women bleeding on home front. We will support them. We'll make sure that, you know what I mean, these people keep getting reminded that while they go around trying to project themselves to be something they are not, we the IG, we in the IG, we are the doers. We try to raise money and help our people. How many organizations in this revolution have ever raised money and showed accountability to the people of Amazonia? None. Only the IG shows accountability. And IG is the only one who is attacked every day asking for accountability. And we do show accountability. So that's all I got to say about that. I hope it's educational for our people. Thank you. Thank you, Yaya. Dr. Yaya, please. Chief of Staff, can you hear me? I lost you there for a minute.
Yes, I can. Yes,
okay,
thank you for that elaborate answer. So you were very succinct in answering what makes us different from groups, or pressure groups, whatever we want to call them. You said the ability to mobilize, and number two, the fact that we have structures. So talking about structures, we've heard, of course, lately, we know what we've been through the past 6 months with the breakaway faction, or we call them popularly known as coopers or the coup plotters. Well, they claim that they have these same qualities. They claim that they can mobilize and that they have got structures. They claim that they are actually the legitimate government, of course, which we know is not true. Now, what can you say about that? Because they claim to actually have actually copied every structure that this interim government has and call them recalibrated, or with an R. So, but talking about what happened recently over the weekend, this is just like a side example to actually help us analyze. You made a statement which I think is very objective. You said, well, we don't think that these people have the capacity, they don't have the intention to actually lead Ambazonia to total independence. But if they do, we would be happy. All right. So let us give them the benefit of doubt that they can mobilize. In recent times, over the weekend, this breakaway faction led by Marianta, this is really pathetic. They actually organized a fundraising intended to raise money to support No Pity, who has become a poison gift, so to say, to our revolution. And if this is a show of confidence or a show of popularity or whatever I may say, this is a fundraiser meant to include sons and daughters of Bowie County, as well as Marianta and her so-called government, and well-wishers. And the attendance is a whopping 38 participants. And out of that, trust me, at least 5 people are there to just take the notes, So let us give them an average of about 35. What is this telling to the people of Ambazonia? Or let us say Marianta says she has a government, and if they're doing exactly everything, they're copying everything that this interim government is doing, we know that we have a large cabinet. So I am not sure these 38 or 35 participants, whether half of our cabinet attended, and I don't know how many people from Bowie County, apart from the renegade individuals like TJ and Yuven Lukong. So I'm not sure. I'm sorry that I'm going down to this, but I think that our people need to understand, because a lot of people meet me and they say, we're very confused. Oh, how about this government in Leicester? How about this and that? So that's why I really wanted you to explain and tell the people of Ambazonia what the difference actually is, how they can actually judge for themselves if they cannot use maybe common sense or they are not privy to some information. How can you really tell who are the jokers and who is serious? One of the ways, this is me, and that's what I apply in my own personal life. Consistency is a factor That is very, very important in assessing someone's character. And we know that President Sako has been that one consistent uh, leader who has never changed his stance on total independence, no negotiations. Non-negotiable as far as that is concerned. We have other leaders of the pressure groups who have changed their lingo, they have changed the nomenclature. Some of them can't even pronounce the name Ambazonia. And interestingly, I'm sorry I'm talking too much, the so called Coopers, led by Marianta, when she was a minister, she was the Secretary of State under the government of Dr. Sako. The ADF has always been a great enemy to our revolution, not because they are, of course, Amazonians, but simply because at some point their focus or their vision was no longer the same as ours. We believe, we of the interim government, we believe, and we can see that the public sees that for itself, that the ADF is no longer for this revolution. They are linked to Yaoundé. So if Marianta says she left this interim government, the people's government, for whatever claims they seem to have, and while she was there, she was against the ADF. She holds a fundraiser, her very first public outing as the so-called president of the coup plotters, and has a whooping 38 participant turnout, including her cabinet, including so-called Bui County members, and then members of the ADF, like Capo Daniel. What a shame. So is this not clear enough? So this is Coopers plus ADF equals to what? So please tell me how you analyze, how you assess this, and what lessons you have to actually break down to somebody who doesn't seem to be able to put the puzzles together. Thank you, Mr. VP. Sorry I spoke too much.
Yes. Thank you, Chief of Staff. This goes to authenticate what I said earlier. Okay, let's go back to this ACT thing. When ACT was birthed, when we went to the SCRC to try to bring the leaders together, Ayabacho of ADF boycotted. When Fontaine tried to take over the leadership of the SCRC and crown himself a superstructure, the president and other groups within the SCRC withdrew and went to Montrose, and an ACT was birthed. When ACT was birthed, everyone encouraged every pressure group in the diaspora to join, so we can form a formidable united front. That way La République would know that these people may have different ideas, but when it comes to the independence of our country, they are one. Ayabacho refused to join ACT. But as soon as these other people like Boo Herbert and all these people, they started doing what they're doing, claiming that the IG was pushed out of ACT and stuff like that, they brought in the Mariantas and they also brought in the Ayabacho. So why is it that Ayabacho can always sit in a room if the president of Ambazonia is not there? And when I saw their fake ACT meeting, he actually he registered his name on that Zoom. Dr. Ayabacho Lucas, president. There was also Marianta, president. Also, I asked myself, what kind of coalition is that? Coalition of thieves? Well, I'm sorry. Marianta should understand something. She worked with us, and she was one of our comrades. She was, I think, she was the undersecretary of education, if I'm not mistaken. Even though I don't even know what she was doing. Should actually revisit her conscience. How can you be the president of Chris Anu, of Abongo, of John Egiawan, Ghana Moff, all these people, Reverend Asson, Mula Edi, that's Edin Gumba, the majority of them, how can you be the president of Frida Ashu? That Frida Ashu is the one who went into Ambazonian Foundation and tried to siphon $70,000. Unfortunately for her, she transferred that money into an account in the same bank, her own private account within that same bank. So when we protested, the bank blocked that money. How can you be a president to bless Che, who went falsified documents and withdrew $40,000 from our account, money that we contributed to help our people? How can you be the president to Abongo, to whom the president gave a project of 135,000, a deal that Chris Anu purportedly brought that would have alleviated the pain of our people and boosted their morale and their ability to defend themselves, and they squandered that money? How can you be the president of John Egeawan, who has actually squandered more money than anybody in this revolution? How can you be a president of all these people? How can you lead this kind of people? So that is why I say that's the government of thieves and embezzlers. And if you associate yourself with thieves and embezzlers, then you yourself, you're a thief. I've heard someone call me today and made a statement to me saying that that some members of that gang of embezzlers are now protesting that Marianta is not fit to be president, that she should resign. And that the fact that she is collaborating with AGF doesn't them. You know what? It is a shame. It is a real shame. I want the Ambazonian people to listen to me and listen very, very carefully. We are not in this revolution because we hate one person or we like the other one more. We are in this revolution to galvanize support to solve the problems facing our country, to make sure that the people who have stood up to this dictatorial regime in Cameroon have the ability to defend themselves. It is not about grandstanding or about I'm the best or I'm not the best. We all are good at what we do. But the most important qualification that you may have to serve in this revolution is to never give up and to always make sure that you don't live off of the revolution by extorting money that was contributed to serve your people. Like I said before, when you look at all the coup plotters, most of them handle money. And someone is sitting there calling herself president. Who are you leading? Who are you president of? President of John Egeawan? You kidding me? It's a shame. So I just want the Ambazonian people to know that the president and I have been out so many times encouraging those of you who followed these coup plotters blindly. Maybe someone convinced you that the president actually collected $60,000 a month from CDC, which was a blatant lie. If you know that is a lie, and you know that you are an honorable person who will never support a structure that was bettered through unconstitutionality, then the best course of action for you is to call your LGA and go back to it. So together we can work to help our people defend themselves and to free our nation. That is the message I'm going to keep giving the Ambazonian people. The rest is obvious. No one is a fool here. If anyone ever dreamt or thought that Ambazonians are fools, they are mistaken. You may lie and lie and lie, but Ambazonians will always wake up one day and say, you know what? Now we know the truth. Please, don't be ashamed. I'm appealing to everyone who ever followed these people blindly. Pick up your phone and call me. We'll bring you back so you can come and join the coalition of the great. Because we are the coalition of the great. We are the ones who can raise the money. We are the ones with a good structure. We are the ones who lament when people squander our money. Money that was meant to go to our boys, to our men and women down there. So please, come back home. Thank you, Chief of Staff.
Thank you, Mr. VP. Thank you. I think that was really good that you listed some of those names because lest we forget really soon. And these are people who have caused the Ambazonian struggle so much pain through extortion, lack of accountability, and they're the ones pointing fingers, of course, at a system that has the means to do checks and balances. The question then to the people who still seem confused is this: the reason these coup plotters, Marianta and the gang, claim that they left, is because of A, B, C, D. and they're claiming there's mismanagement or funds were diverted and all of that. But the key or the ringleaders who are responsible for diverting these funds unaccounted for are in their camps. In their camps, sorry. And we have heard the names. These are uncomfortable names. We must name them because Amazonians need to know what their hard-earned money, how that was mismanaged or stolen. A Giawan, a Chris Anu, the gang of Ghana Murphy, and of course the silent, but the master planner, the main brain behind, who is a Bongwa, who happens to be a very sly fox because he's smart. He keeps himself on the background and pushes, silly people like Marianta. I really say that. But of course, she's a greedy person, as I know her at the personal level. That's why she can take the risk to divert the course of an entire nation just out of greed to be in a position of influence. It is really pathetic. And I remember when they killed Isobo. I mean, when I think about this, that Marianta would hold a fundraising event with Yuven Lukom, who is popularly known as Wokov of Dzukwa, and TJ Soyuni, that is supposed to be the chairperson of Oku. These are the two gangsters who have tried so hard to destabilize Bui County. We're not saying that the county runs perfectly. No institution that is manned by human beings runs perfectly. But there is room for correction, auto correction as we go. You don't have to bring down the system. And of course, we know their intention was not even to correct. It was simply to be in a position of leadership, just because they don't like A or B or C. To the point where they actually masterminded or at least cooperated with the enemy, the ADF, and killed Isobo, FM Isobo. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And these are the people that Marianta tends today to support. I try to find at a personal level how, even as from coming from a feminine perspective, how you even condone with this. This Isobo I still say is because it's hard to say was, one of our greatest fighters and a very loyal patriot. The ADF through Capo of Bui, I'm sorry, I have to say this. They actually, before his death, they had pronounced that and actually put a song on his head. Capo Daniel or the Capo of Bui, of ADF. They are all Capos are of ADF. Anyway, they put a song on this young man's head, and he was killed brutally, and his body, displayed so disgracefully on the roads. And is this the same person? These are the same people Marianta will collaborate with? Is this how blind power can make you be? Something you so badly criticized and hated, and now they're your best friends? It doesn't make any sense to me. So please, whoever is out there saying, I don't understand this, you think there are 3 presidents, please use some common sense. Consistency, I keep saying, is one of the qualities of a stable personality. You cannot hate something yesterday and then today suddenly you love them so badly. Was Chris Anu, who is the so-called Secretary of State for Marianta, was he in this meeting? No. Why? Because he would never see eye to eye with ADF. So what a confused bunch. Is this really a government? Somebody help me here.
Oh, yeah.
So again, talking about our ability to mobilize, again, as a test of confidence or no confidence, they also, Marianta, in her first public outing to fundraise, merited a whooping $6,000. Oh yeah, that's the best they can do. So my people, go ahead.
Chief of Staff, let me just say something here. Since you're on that topic, when I talked earlier, I never mentioned this meeting because it's just very it's shameful. Before 2 weeks before that meeting, I received some advertisement for that meeting, and then 2 days, I think 1 or 2 days before that meeting, I also received a Zoom link saying that Bui County is inviting you to whatever. I just looked at it and just shrugged my shoulders because I thought it was irrelevant. But I was also curious, and when I saw the screenshots and the recordings from the meeting on social media, I took my time and I looked through participants. And I listened to the audio, so I know TJ was there, and then woke off. Yuven Lukon was there, and he actually did they called on him to do a presentation on the problems that they faced in Bui. Why, what happened, like what happened in Bui. He was the one who actually informed those 32 bunch of people. He sat there and said there were problems in Bui County, and they reached out to the leadership, and the leadership did not solve the problem. What a pathetic lie. Chief of Staff, you know, I have been all over Amazonia in so many counties and LGAs trying to solve problems. I have my own LGA and I have my own county, but I think I've been into other LGAs trying to solve problems and organize things and guide and stuff like that more than my own LGO county. I came into Bui. These two people, TJ, that's Tatas Oyuni, was sent to Oku as the chairperson of Oku. Yuven Lukon, alias Wokoff, was sent to Nzekwa. And then we had 6 LGAs. Okay. If there's a problem within your county, and you go out and tell people there's a problem in my county, I'm telling the leadership, they are not listening. Who is the leadership? The 6 LGA chair people that we had chosen, that the people had chosen, were the 6 leaders of that county. They were supposed to sit together and solve problems. They were also the 6 defense chairs were also supposed to sit together and make collective decisions when it comes to defense matters. But I distinctly remember some complaints coming from that county there. Somebody like Yuven Lukon, that's Wokoff, will come into those meetings, will sit there as the chairman of Nzekwa, listen to all the problems, listen to the leadership, present requisitions about things that were to be procured. And then when they disburse the money, he goes out, call his friend like TJ and the other one who lives in Nigeria, calls himself Shewo Scandi, and start saying something totally different. He runs away from that collective decision that was made. So what he did was, when the county has a little bit of money and they prioritize, when they prioritize and say, hey, we have just a little bit of money, let's buy this, let's buy that to help our people. He sits there and he participates in that decision. Then he goes out and destroys everybody else and betrays the entire leadership. So when he sat in that meeting yesterday, I was telling people that they had been complaining about problems in Bui County, and the leadership, is he talking about the federal government? So he is the leadership he is also part of his leadership, the leadership of his LGA. The responsibility to solve the problems of Bui County was not the federal government's problem. Yes, we can come in and help, like I went in and helped sometimes. But it is the primary responsibility of the leadership of that county that constituted 6 LGA chairs sitting together and making collective decisions. So when I saw what I saw yesterday and listened to their utterances, it was really shameful. And the fact that they couldn't even muster 50 people. Where are all the Francophones and the ADF people that they had brought into their fake APP when they were purportedly trying to impeach Dr. Sako? Where are they? Why didn't they bring all those Francophones and all those ADF people? Why didn't they reach out to Ayabacho and say, bring ADF people to come and contribute? 38 people. Marietta, I feel sorry for you. If these are the kind of people you are leading, you know what? It's quite a shame. Thank you, Chief of Staff.
This is a comrade who is a fine speaker. He can speak and can convince people and can actually woo you into believing things. And this is what we should guard ourselves against. We are not here for public speaking. Some people are inspirational speakers, but please Check your facts. Check your facts. I come from the same county as him, so I know what we've been through. Yes, not all the count or the LGAs are fully constituted, but that's far from what the problem is. We as Bowie County, we drafted as a county. We have actually always functioned as a county because I think two or three of those of the other LGAs are not fully constituted, and that's kind of safe in the sense that it covers everybody. So our modus operandi, our way of operating was uh, such that we sponsored projects. We did not go to share money that, oh, we have 10 million and therefore we're sharing it to six, we're sharing it into six parts. No, that's not how we function. And Yuven Lukong knows that very well. So when we draft as a county, and how many people actually draft in Bowie County? Interestingly, although they go out making lavish parties all across the world, but how many people do actually invest in our liberation struggle from Bowie County? Very few. So we are not even talking about a lot of money. And Ambazonians, non-Bowie patriots have always supported us in a very great way. So now we sponsor projects and not LGAs. And Juven knows that. But then he uses this narrative. Oh, they took the money, a captain took the money and just put it in Kumbo, or took the money and did not give Zokwa. No, no LGA has received money as an LGA. Projects have been funded. And those defense projects are coordinated at the level of a county. But this is a man who wants to be sly. He wants to use that and that emotionalism and say, "Oh, Zukwa has been left out. When they get the money, the big pie, they don't share it. We've not gotten our own part of it." Which LGA ever got the money as take your own share of the draft? That's not how we function. And if that's the way he thinks we should function, then he should draft his own LGA. How much has Zukwa drafted? Then he should draft. In any case, I think the last, is it right to say the last draft they did not draft? Um, but anyway, forgive me if I'm wrong. But then they can, if you drafted as an LGA, and you can even make that complaint. How many people drafted from your LGA? All this is about is really power mongering, because this is
Exactly.
somebody who just strongly hated the leadership of Bowie County, and that is Captain. That's his number one enemy. We will not hide these things because people have to know. I get a lot of calls that keep me, talking nonstop, and sometimes I get upset because I ask these people who are really comrades from Bowie County. I said, if you were attending the meeting, you would understand what's going on. I now have to spend 3 hours with you, and guess how many calls I do have. So look, some people may say this is petty, coming on here and talking about things. It is not. It is simply the facts, and anybody who queries them, I'm happy to have a conversation with them. People
No,
simply need to know.
it's not chief of staff. It's not. If you don't
Yeah,
explain this, what happens? These same people, they are the people who call home front
yeah,
and permeate all these lies, permeate it with all these lies. So if you don't clear things up, then there are people on home front who are just going to believe all the lies. So it is our responsibility to explain to the Ambazonian people so they know exactly what
correct.
went wrong. Because when people make audios and say IG, whenever you hear IG, they are not talking about some county, they are talking about the federal government. It is the responsibility of the counties to educate the grassroots. Every LGA should educate their people. I wish all the LGAs would take turns and come to Amba TV and talk to their constituency, explain how government works, how their own understanding of government. I don't like, I don't want to sound professorial, but you know what I mean? We are not professors. We don't come here and claim that we know everything. We came here and shared our ideas, our understanding of how government is. But it is also
Yeah.
the responsibility for every LGHA to narrow that education and exposure to their own LGA, explaining to their people. That would even encourage more people to come in. You know
Thank
what I
you,
mean?
VP.
So yeah, so
Just to
thank you.
cut in again to expose the ills of this so-called Yuven Lukong, also known as Shea Wokov or whatever. Uh, you know, the, I think he just planted seeds of division, and he's really the mastermind behind the killings of so many sons and daughters of Bowie through the formation of this stupid concept or bloody demonic concept of unity warriors. Already, our Amazonian Restoration Forces, as the president explains all the time, this is a united force because we have those forces that are locally constituted. They have different names, but the fact that they have one purpose, that's to free Amazonia, they fall under the leadership, the chain of command of the commander-in-chief, who is the president, and therefore they are a united force. So I'm not sure where we need to have this catchphrase, buoy, whatever they call it, unity warriors. If you are truly for unity, how then do you start it? By eliminating FM Ifsobo, by killing him, by eliminating so many others who do not simply align with what you preach? How can unity be a terrorism? That if you don't support what I do, I have to kill you or eliminate you. Can people have some common sense, please? Don't just be moved by words. If words were all that existed, then we shouldn't really have evil in this world. But trust me, evil actually uses good words to find its way through. So you need common sense to be able to decipher good from evil. I don't, it's not by my name that you will judge me, it's by my actions. If I call myself the Unity Warriors and all I do is disarm my own fellow comrades and I expose them to the enemy to be killed, or I kill them myself, like No Pity has done under this in the auspices of the Unity Warriors, funded and promoted by people like Wolkoff. So these people are killers. Wolkoff, TJ Soyuni, Shewon Sisi. I am surprised that Wolkoff is saying that the leadership failed them, and now he is collaborating with an ex-leader, that is Luistas Nusu, who was our former county head, county chair, who left us in the middle of the ocean the night of the draft of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that night he resigned. I thought he was going into, it was just too much for him and he just needed time to sit down and recuperate before joining the struggle. But sadly, he joined the wrong side of the struggle. He joined the wrong side of the struggle to support. You cannot hate an individual to the point of losing the entire vision of a people.
You're right.
That is so
Yeah,
pathetic.
those are the kind
Yes,
of things we have to deal with on a daily basis. So
I'm sorry,
we
VP.
just
I
have
know
to
you've
keep
had to
doing
sneak
what is
off
right.
time.
Yes.
You've had to sneak off time from work to actually be here, so I wouldn't take too much of your time. You know, this is a very passionate topic. But let me say something. We have heard. I am not very versed with what's happening in terms of the defense and intel side of things. But there is uh, news or rumors coming saying that La Republique is actually in a tight corner, and these are the last days, so to say. And of course, the last kicks of a dying horse are really hard because they do everything. They're giving their last to try to break the system before they go, you know. And so we see a lot of all these machinations happening. We've been told that La Republique has actually, even in its tight corner of economic difficulties, they have actually formed committees to infiltrate this struggle as part of really their last effort. So this is a war they declared and thought it would last for 2 weeks, and this is 5 years counting. So that speaks volumes. So we hear that they've actually put in a lot of money out there to, uh, discourage Amazonians, to buy over our fighters, to actually disrupt the interim government. And that's why you have all these different pockets of things happening. This effort trying to impeach the president, which failed, and then the act trying to create is or elevate itself to a superstructure, which is failing, and then you have the so-called leadership should be sent to ground zero. All these different concepts and tactics, happening at this time. What do you make out of this? Why all these agitations? And what do you have to say to our people? Should we be afraid? Should we be confident? Let us know.
Well, we've been hanging in there for how long? Almost 5 years, right?
Yes.
So that already tells anyone that we're resilient people. That's the first thing. We have to give ourselves a pat on the back. If we weren't strong, we would have already self-destroyed. We would have already destroyed ourselves, because there are people in this revolution who are more calibrated to destroying this interim government than actually destroying La Republic. It is just a fact. But good will always triumph in front of evil, whether they like it or not. Well, one other thing I'm going to say is that based on intelligence, not even like any serious intelligence, any intelligent person will know this. Just like we sit in our meetings and we strategize and we think of ways we can galvanize support for our boys and girls and women and men, grandmothers and grandfathers fighting on home front, the enemy is also having backdoor meetings with some people. And when an Ambazonian is so weak-minded that they do things that benefit La Republique, what do you think La Republique will do? La Republique will approach them and say, hey, can you help us defeat your people? There are traitors in every camp. Don't you have Francophones who are supporting us? We do. You have people like Michel Mbienta. He advocates for our cause. So you have some of these people, even those who are in this platform right now typing and insulting. These are people who call themselves Anglophones, which is really stupid, sitting here insulting everything that everybody is trying to do to freedom. Everybody has their own motivation. The fact still remains that La Republique can dance kumbaya from now till hell. Ambazonia is going to be free, whether they like it or not. This is not a joke. This is not something that people are just saying, hey, you know what, we just want to do this and just see our people die. No, our people have died for 5 years. Our men, women, children, brothers, mothers, sisters, they have been battle hardened. All we have to do as Ambazonians is to make sure that when we go to draft, everybody should come on and draft in their LGS, draft to the federal government, draft. That's it. Pay your draft. We have over 2 million Ambazonians living in the diaspora. Let's just say, let's just say 500,000, or let's say 1 million draft. Come on. We'll have enough money to prosecute this war. So let people just keep doing what they are doing. Keep fighting hard. Participate in your LGAs. Make sure that you are present everywhere that help is needed. Because we can never stop the enemy from recruiting agents amongst us. I believe that when you say one is an agent of La Republique, and the person says, oh no, I don't talk to La Republique. No, your actions alone makes you an agent of La Republique. If LGS come together and they collect money, and you, a former vice president, you go down to every single LGA church, the goods the day, this and they go bring and can deliver right for una door. If they deliver for una door before una go pay, una just put una money for inside national treasury. Now when they don't deliver una goods, una sugarcane them and everything, then that time we will move that money, pay the person. Okay, if that was the arrangement with all these LGS and counties, where are the goods? And if the goods are not there, why did the money leave the national treasury? Why did Abongwa sign those requisitions, paying John Egiawan that money, or whoever he was paying them, or Chris Anu and all these people? Why? The arrangement was that put your money in the national treasury, and then when the things are procured, brought to you right on ground on home front, then we can release your money. Why did they release the money before they saw the goods? John Egiawan was following fake goods from country A to country B to country C to country D. What was he following? A ghost? Please. So when you do things like that, you are an agent of La Republique. I don't care if La Republique gave you money or not. If you do things that destroys this revolution, if you did things that doesn't empower our people. When you take money that was supposed to go to help our men and women bleeding to defend themselves, you are an agent of La Republique because you are enabling La Republique to kill our people by your actions. That's the way I look at it. Chief of Staff, thank you.
That's that, Mr. VP. Well said. So we have to judge people by their actions and not by their words. And so we will slowly be coming to the end of this very, very informative program as usual. It's always a great pleasure and an opportunity to learn so much talking to a very able vice president and loyal vice president, we must say. So please, we'll be taking some questions. You can call directly. I'm not sure if the number is already pasted on the pane. If not, just send a text message or call +49 179 393 3842. Our technical team will put that number up, but that's the usual number we've used on a different program. So please call or send a text so that we can put the questions forward to our vice president. And I think I got the signal. And while waiting, actually, the VP announced that. So the first county to actually launch the draft 2022 is the great county of Mezam. So we are all galvanizing for this Saturday for Mezam County. Well, some song they will be singing. They say, "Come and see, oh, come and see." So yeah, it's not going to be 6,000. It's not going to be 60,000. It's going to be much more. So you know who pulls the ropes. The international world knows who pulls the ropes. So please, you better off joining the winning team. It is not. This is not bragging. We have done the work. That's the fact. The people are welcome to join at any time. But you're not welcome to come and destroy, because you cannot destroy your people. Mandela said this: the war that you're certain to lose is the one that you fight against your people. So this is the people's government. It is not Sarko's government. It is nobody's government. Dr. Sarko is our president, but this is the people's government because it is a broad-based structure from grassroots to the top, involving so many different arms and different branches with checks and balances, institutions put in place to make sure that we have a balanced form of governance. If you look at different groups, you only hear of a president and nothing else. You hear of a president and maybe you hear of a propaganda somebody, and that's it. You haven't heard of their departments, what they do. Have you ever heard that? I don't know. Does the ADF have a Department of Health and Social Services, for example? So please use common sense, to judge for yourselves. So we're waiting. We'll take questions for the next 12 minutes and then call it quits for today while thanking our variable vice president. Okay, I have a question here for you, Mr. VP. It says it's a rhetorical question, I guess. What is the difference between getting back to eat your vomit and the concept of the Cameroonese, meaning one Cameroon concept? How come coup plotters are going back to collaborate with people who have questionable alliances with La République du Cameroun? So I don't know if that's clear enough.
Well, like I said, that is the choice they have made, which is really detrimental to our revolution. But you know what? Like I said, evil can never triumph. Good will always triumph. If someone wants to remain in La Republique, what has that got to do with me? Or what has that got to do with you, Chief of Staff? What has that got to do with us? A lot of people who live in the diaspora. Some of them are American citizens, some of them are European citizens, some of them are Italian citizens or whatever. Isn't that a choice? No one is stopping an Ambazonian from remaining in La République du Cameroun. But please, get out of our way while we try to get our independence. If you want to go back there, go and stay there. We don't care. Ambazonians are fighting to liberate their country. And if you were born in the southern Cameroon, or your parents were born in the southern Cameroons, and you feel like, hey, La Republique is your country, then go over there and get your keep your citizenship. And if you don't betray us, when we get our independence, you can keep your citizenship over there and then come to Ambazonia and say, hey, I want to have a green card because now I'm a citizen of La Republique. I want to be able to come down to Ambazonia and visit my family. Then we'll ask you some questions and maybe give you a green card. So there is no need to go around trying to betray us. If you don't like, if any Ambazonian loves La Republique so much, go there. We don't want you anyway. Go back to that rotten country. I distinctly remember that growing up, our country was clean. Police officers did not even carry guns. They were called peace officers. They had batons. A police officer would stop you and would give good evening, sir, very respectful. But now look at these thieves that they call police officers in La Republique. They stop you, they take your documents, and they put them under their stinky armpit, and they go and sit over there with a beer. You have to come over there and give them money, and they will not even look at your documents. They don't care if you have documents or not. They are going out there to make money. And at the end of the day, they all collect the money, they bring it and they give it to the inspector, they give some to the commissioner. These people are thieves. We cannot live with animals, man. Please. Let's just fight and leave that place. We can never live with La Republique. No, they are too dishonest. So if any Ambazonian feels like, you know what I mean, they want to stay there, please go. We don't need you. If you want to remain with La Republique, just go. So the question that our comrade asked is a very genuine question, because there are people whom you can abuse, and they will still be submissive to you. Ambazonians are not those kind. We are fighting for our liberation, and we will get it, whether they like it or not. It will come. Thank you.
Mr. VP, that was very invigorating. I had a caller from Homefront, but unfortunately lost him. I asked him to wait. So I'm not sure if he can hear us. You can call now, dear caller. And the number is on the screen. Thank you, technical team. Thank you for that. While waiting for any calls to come in, we just want to remind the population, Ambazonians, that we are starting our draft exercise. And mind you, a lot of people say, yeah, the draft exercise is not the only thing that we do to raise funds for this struggle. Those who are involved with their LGAs would confirm with me that, especially for those of us in Boy County, we are problem oriented. So we solve problems as we go. The draft is a formal exercise that is a compulsory, a patriotic exercise, so to say. But besides that, we do take care of business as need arises. So, yes, we're waiting for those calls. In the meantime, get ready. Wear your toggos for Mezam County. You know they're no nonsense county, and that's why they called the Great Mezam. So, being the launchers of our draft 2022, be ready for big event. And of course, our vice president stems from that county. So, Mezam no take last. So please, wanna all share, wanna mobilize, and we will see on Saturday.
Okay, Chief of Staff.
Yes, sir.
Any more calls? I have to go back to work.
No, I'm just reading a comment. Lovely program. Keep doing a great job. So if no more calls, I know you are short of time, and we so much appreciate you leaving your work to come and spend this time with us. We will make time in future to get you back again.
Oh, absolutely. I really enjoyed this.
So please, maybe you could start doing your closing statements while waiting for any questions.
Yes, my fellow Ambazonians, I'm very grateful that for those of you, grateful to those of you who have actually taken the time to come here and listen to us. The thing is, I just want to encourage everyone to be strong and to identify evildoers when they come close to you. I call them evildoers because when someone is bent on killing your people, and then you do things that enables that person and strengthens them in their desire to annihilate your people, you are evil. You are doing evil to your people. When people contribute money and you steal it, and then you run away with that money, and then go and say you're creating another government because you are looking for a way to hide under that canopy, the canopy of a fake government, so we cannot ask you for that money back, you are an evil person. Because you know what? That mother or that son or that uncle or grandfather or grandmother who is dying right now because when La Republique starts chasing him or her, and they have maybe 5 bullets left, and they are running and running, and they turn around and they spray those 5 bullets, and then they finally run out of it, and then they are shot and killed. Their blood is on your head. You, Abongwa, you, Marianta, you, Chris Anu, you are responsible for all the deaths that have happened on home front from the day you brought your deal and extorted $135,000 from this interim government. You are responsible for all the men and women who have died down there of hunger because we didn't have enough money to give them money to buy food. You sit here in the diaspora, instead of going and getting a job, you sit here and you lie on your TV station every single day. Sir, please, stop it. Stop it. Go back to your friend who gave you the deal to bring to us and tell him to give back that money. If he gave you your own share, if he took half of the money and gave you half, please bring your own share back to us. We need that money to fund our people down there. So that's my advice to you, sir. Thank you, Ambazonians, and have a wonderful day.
So much, VP. And just to add to that list of evildoers, I would say they are collaborators or facilitators or enablers, whatever name you choose. That is, again, Yuven Lukong, in quotes, Wokov of Zukwa, Javed Tata, also known as TJ Soyuni, the sycophant of Bui County, Tata Civism, under the scammer's name of Shey Tata Woskandi, Luis Das Nuse, Shewon Sisi, popularly known, and of course, anyone who is supporting the demonic group called Unity Warriors under no pity, who are out to kill their own brothers and have done so. And let me say, the amount of killings that have taken place in this short time under this so-called Unity Warriors of our sons and daughters of Bui County and Gokitunjia is much more than what La Republique ever succeeded in killing. I hope that speaks volumes. So these Unity Warriors, whosoever is supporting this group, know that you are supporting the death of your brothers and sisters. And your hands, and there's blood in your hands, and you wouldn't go free. I am sure the blood of FM Isobo will never let you rest. On that note, we say thank you, Ambazonia. See you next week, either on the health show or this program, which we will eventually determine the frequency. But thank you. Thanks for watching. And to our callers, I'm not sure the one caller what happened. We wish you all the best. To our fighters, stay strong. You know who your commander-in-chief is. They say the sheep know the voice of their gynaco. So please, let no other funny person come with some shiny envelope and try to fool you. You should know the voice of your master. Your master is not there once in a while. Your master is there through thick and thin. He's been there for 5 years. So why now? Why now turn to take an envelope from a stranger? And that's a bad gift. That's a poison gift. You're going to take that envelope, you will eat of it, and you end up in your grave. So be wise. Thank you. Good night.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, and 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the